Welcome back to Off the Beaten Tracks. If you've watched this channel before, the background is different because I have moved across the country, and I've moved from LA, where I was for 36 years, and now I'm in Toronto, where I was before I moved to Los Angeles, so I am now back where I started. I would like to start today with an album by these well-dressed gentlemen. This is the Merrymen, and the album is You Sweeten Me. And these guys are from Barbados. They play calypso music. They're on this particular one, the Caravan label. I got this for $1 in the dollar bins at my new record store, one of my new record stores, Cops on Queen, which is in Toronto. And these guys, this is from '66. These guys are kind of interesting. I'd never heard of them, but apparently they are a big deal. They performed for the Queen 3 times, and they performed at the Super Bowl. They were the Super Bowl entertainment. These guys, the Super Bowl entertainment for in 1979, where Pittsburgh beat Dallas. So they, come a long way to Bruce Springsteen from the Merrymen. And one little tiny piece of trivia, which I found fascinating, was that Chris Gibbs, I don't know, there may be this guy here, that looks like it's 4 strings. Chris Gibbs, the bass player, was the first Caribbean to swim across the English Channel. So as my grandfather used to say, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now we're on to some Canadiana because I'm in Canada. I'm going to start with Men's Room on the Solid Gold label. There's Men's Room. There are 3 ladies. That is what the singers. This is from 1983, and it's kind of 80s electro-poppy kind of stuff, but it features the most famous girl here is Charity Brown, but also Cheryl Ray and Karen Cole. And this is all covers, but it's not overpoweringly Foster Graydon Fairlight keyboardy. So there are some appealing songs on this. My standouts were The Best Years of Our Lives and the B.B. Gabor penned Simulated Groove. And I was told by a friend of mine when I wasn't here back in 1983 that Sign of the Times from this album was a top 20 hit. Now, we're going on to Bill Houston, and even though that's an American name, this is not an American album. This is the King of White Otter Lake. And this album is so Canadian, you can practically smell the donuts on it. I was surprised, actually, because obviously it's a folk album, and I was surprised I liked it so much. And why did I buy this if I didn't expect to like it? Well, if I could answer that question, I'd have a lot more money in my bank account. It's a joyful record and good playing on this. It's a feel-good type of an album. And the song, I believe, North of Superior on this was featured in a movie that used to play for years and years at Ontario Place. I think at the Cineplex, is it called, or the Cinedome or something? This is Lorence Hud. And these are all Canadians. This is from 1972 on the A&M label. And despite the kind of fierce-looking cover, this is not a metal album, though it does have a metal connection. Because the first song on the first side of this album is Sign of the Gypsy Queen, the April Wine hit from a number of years later. I think it was like 76 or 7, something like that. So he wrote that and debuted it on this album, but it's a far softer version, and it's really soft rock and pop on this album. But there's a song called Siren of the Night, which would make an excellent metal cover for all you new metal bands out there. You might want to check this album out because I listened to that song on here and I thought, I wonder why April Wine didn't do that one as well. Carrying on with the Canadian tradition, this is Michael Tarry. This is from 1973, and he was born in England but moved to Canada at a very early age. You can see the T here, probably hinting at you never get away from your country entirely. It's on the Reprise label. Now, this was another blind buy. I think I got this at Cops. Might have got it at Mike's up on Danforth, but I can't remember. Got a little surprised. I was listening to the song, and on the second side, the first song, I thought, hey, I know that tune. It's a song called Rosalie. I'm going to put a connection down to the bottom for that song so you'll be able to listen to it, and a number of other songs, including Lorence Hudd's Son of the Gypsy Queen, so you'll be able to listen to those and see if you think my taste is anything at all. But I did like that song back in the day in 73 when it used to play on Chum. It was kind of a minor hit, and just shows you never know what you're going to pick up, and you never know what you're going to find on an album you basically can't remember or never heard of. Worth picking up if it's cheap enough. This didn't cost a lot of money. Soft poppy 70s stuff. I liked it. Now, coming to my last album, also Canadian. This is the Perth County Conspiracy, and this is Does Not Exist. This was their premiere album from 1970. Now, I really like this album. The first time I became aware of Perth County, I was a kid, and I had no idea who these guys were. And there was a show called, I think it was Night Music, which used to play on, I'm going to say Ontario, what is it, Education Ontario TV or whatever it's called. And Reiner Schwartz, very eccentric disc jockey of the day, used to smoke non-filtered cigarettes on this show, and they used to show wild visuals as the albums played. They used to play whole tracks, and they interviewed, I think, Cedric. Let me look at their names from this so I don't get it wrong. Cedric Smith and I think Richard Keelan from this band on that show and played a couple of songs. As I said, I really like this. It is folk, psych, and spoken word. There are very dramatic readings from Dylan Thomas and Shakespeare on this. It's a whole montage of different things. Very folky, but, there are harder edges, and it's just kind of a weird album from 1970, which just kind of captures the time. There's a lot of people here. This was actually a commune in Western Canada, in Perth County, and to show you how much I like this album, this is the third copy I bought, and actually, this is in the best shape. I'll show you. It's even it's a gatefold here. More commune-y, kind of folky, hippie-y kind of thing. These guys did about 4 or 5 albums. And also Bob Burchell, who later joined the band. I don't think he's on this album. I had a couple of albums. And there was an album connected to a couple of albums by a band called The Rumor, which was not the Graham Parker Rumor, but another offshoot of this large group of people. Anyway, that's my last album for this show. They won't always be Canadian. I just thought, hey, since I'm here now, I might as well start with a little stuff, though I do have another bunch of Canadian albums. I've been buying up all kinds of stuff. Really interesting albums from my new and native land. And as you can say, you can listen to some of these tunes at the bottom. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If I haven't turned you off by my ramblings.